Over the last 20 plus years, the Lexus RX has developed a reputation for itself for being plush, for being comfortable, and above all, being luxurious. Now, however, those strengths have led Lexus to become the best-selling luxury vehicle here in the States, especially the RX. Lexus last year managed to move a little over 100,000 units here in the States. Despite the pandemic, it used to be the best-selling vehicle in America, the best-selling luxury vehicle, but that title was technically taken away with Tesla with their Model 3. Now, I do want to point out those same strengths of the RX have also allowed it to become synonymous with it being a mom car. So as you can see, for 2021, Lexus has sent me over a new model this year. This is the RX 350 F Sport in a new Blackline Special Edition model. Lexus is only building about 1,000 of these for the US market. And as you can see from its styling differences, from the black wheels, the black accents, this new Grecian Waters exterior color, it seems like Lexus is trying to spice up the RX a little bit in preparation for an all-new generation, which you should expect for the 2023 model year. Now, in addition to this new special edition, Lexus gave the RX some pretty significant changes for 2020. So if you guys are in the market for this RX, which I imagine a lot of you are, has Lexus managed to give the RX enough changes in order to appeal to a younger audience? Stay tuned to find out. So in my RX video last year, I basically told you guys to avoid the L model because even though it gives you a tiny third row seat, it is useless for even children, and the RXL just has these really odd proportions. It was basically a car that dealers were complaining to Lexus that they needed, and Lexus delivered by stretching the RX by around 4.5 inches. So now for this video, I'm going to focus primarily on the RX 350, obviously the regular one, because this is the one that Lexus, brought to market over 20 years ago, and it continues to sell really well. I mean, last year, like I said, they sold over 100,000 units last year, and even though this wasn't technically the best-selling luxury car in America, it is still one of the top-selling luxury vehicles. That title now belongs technically to Tesla with the Model 3, although some of you may argue that the Tesla is not a luxury car, it's a premium electric car. But regardless, what is going on with the appeal of this RX? Why do so many people continue to buy this vehicle? Now, I first want to start off, of course, with just the overall feel of this car. Yes, the RX remains a plush vehicle. Yes, it remains a comfortable vehicle. Yes, it remains a somewhat luxurious vehicle. I mean, the interior, I'm not going to, go too much into detail with this. Make sure you watch my review of the previous, or of my RX video last year to see that. But basically, this Blackline Special Edition model gives you some niceties like these black seats with the white contrast, accents and the blue stitching. I really like the interior color combination of this one. This is very trendy, the black and white with the blue. It looks great. However, in terms of luxury, this definitely does not feel like it's at the top of the class anymore. I mean, Lexus gave us the 12.3 inch or an 8 inch as standard. This is optional. It's now a touchscreen. They moved it forward a little bit so you can sort of reach this. You can see, for me, it's kind of a far reach for me. You can see there's also Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although it is not wireless. Lexus isn't doing the wireless in this vehicle. And the steering wheel is still very old. It's a power tilt telescoping wheel. The horn has a pretty nice meaty sound to it, so it sounds pretty much the same as the last Highlander that I drove. And the gauges haven't changed. You have that F Sport inspired or LFA inspired gauge cluster where it doesn't move in this vehicle. If I push this button here, it doesn't actually make the tach move like you find in some other Lexus models. But overall, the seats are pretty comfortable. The back seat offers 38 inches of legroom, so that's still very good. As a two-row vehicle, this still very much excels. It has a plush ride quality, it has good visibility, you have Lexus Safety System 2.0 as standard, it's not the newer 2.5 system, and it doesn't work, as well as a lot of its main luxury rivals. I'm primarily thinking about like the Genesis GV80, which is around the same price as this car. Lexus has a lot of work to do. Now, there is still a next generation coming for 2023 now. It was going to be a 2022 model, but now they're saying it's a 2023 model. But on the outside, the RX, I don't particularly think it is aged very well. Now, I want to remind you that this generation came out back in 2016. It is the fourth generation of the Lexus RX. And back then, when I first saw this car, I wasn't particularly in love with the styling. I think it's a little bit much, especially in the F Sport with this massive Predator grille. However, let me know in the comments below if you guys think this has aged particularly well. I personally think Lexus needs to soften things up a little bit, but also make it a lot more modern for the next generation version. I want to point out, of course, some styling changes for the Blackline Special Edition model. The F Sport grille here has a black surround that makes it look, again, a little bit more aggressive. You still have the premium triple beam LED headlights. Really, the front fascia of this car is interesting to me, but I don't like these fake vents that Lexus has put between the headlights and the LED fog light housing. I think this is just not necessary. They could have done without this little plastic piece here that's just kind of adding a little bit too much. Less is more. That's what I hope Lexus is going to do for the next generation model. This Grecian Waters exterior color is definitely my new favorite color on the RX. Sadly, it is only available on this special edition model, and only 1,000 of them are going to be available here in the States. From this angle, you can really see the aggressive lines of the new RX, or the refreshed RX. I especially think it looks best in the shorter wheelbase, the standard wheelbase model. The L stretches it like 4.5 inches, and I think it looks really odd, especially when you look at the side profile. Now, the Blackline Special Edition, of course, gives you some black accents like the black mirrors. You have that little graphic along the rocker panels. You have the F Sport badge. But really, I think what really ties it in together for me are these black 20-inch wheels. They're wrapped in 235 wood tires. These wheels definitely make the car look a lot more aggressive. Now, at 192.5 inches long, some would say the RX is the perfect size for a lot of empty nesters or just families who don't need a third row seat, because the back seat, the second row, offers around 38 inches of legroom. You can see the rear has the usual F Sport treatments here. You have this kind of black chrome here and there. You have this more aggressive rear diffuser for the bumper. There's those fake exhaust trim pieces back there that kind of mimic a dual exhaust piece, where the muffler's not actually connected to that. But overall, the car just looks great in this color. Now, I'm surprised to see that Lexus doesn't offer like a black painted roof. That's something that you can get on a lot of Toyota products. You can also get a pano sunroof on this model, but not the L version, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, the cargo area is a confusing aspect for me, because when I looked on Lexus's media site, the company only says you get around 16 cubic feet of space, and if you fold down the second row, they're saying 32 cubic feet of space. That looks like a really bad typo for me, because this to me looks like 32 cubic feet of space, and if you fold down the second row, you get around 69 cubic feet of space, just under 70. The L version obviously gives you slightly more cargo room, but keep in mind, look at the load floor here. It's pretty high up. I like some of the, F Sport Blackline Special Edition upgrades here. You have this nice metal trim piece here. You have these carpeted floor mats with the blue, accent stitching around it, which looks good. And it is a very well laid out cargo area. There's even some underfloor storage underneath here. But surprised to see the load floor is pretty high. I also like this rear bumper applique here to keep, scratches from happening when you're taking stuff in and out of your RX. Now, regardless of what you think of the design of the RX, you can't deny that the Blackline Special Edition model definitely adds a little bit of youthful flair to this vehicle, if that's even possible. I actually like the Grecian Waters exterior with the black wheels. It definitely looks a little bit more interesting versus the standard beige or silver or gray or white or black RX that you typically find. But a lot of people buy these for its just overall plush feel. And that V6 that you still get is still creamy. It's a 3.5 liter V6 making 295 horsepower. It is a very good engine that delivers 19 city, 26 highway through an 8-speed Toyota and Lexus automatic. Take your pick between their front or their torque vectoring all-wheel drive system. Now, the RX is still no lightweight. This vehicle definitely feels fat and heavy. It weighs in at around 4,200 pounds, a little over that. And in my week's worth of testing, I averaged around 19 mpg. On the highway, around 25 mpg. So decent fuel economy. You can put regular in it, because remember, this is based off of the Camry's V6. It's the same engine, but it means the RX isn't as quick as a lot of its European rivals. 0 to 60 in 7.9 seconds is what Lexus says. The hybrid version is actually about the same, because it adds like 300 to 400 pounds of weight. So if you're looking for a faster RX, it just doesn't exist. I really hope Lexus puts the twin turbo V6 from the LS500 into this vehicle for the next generation. We honestly don't know. I'm hoping they also add a plug-in hybrid variant. The RAV4 Prime's powertrain would be excellent in this car, although it probably needs a little bit more of a bump in horsepower, because this is a luxury brand. But I still very much enjoy driving this car. It's comfortable, it's refined, it's smooth, it's going to be damn reliable, of course. It's a Lexus. And the transmission, for some reason in this model, is tuned a little bit better versus previous 8 speeds that I've driven in, like a Camry, for example. It is a little bit snappier here, kind of slow to shift, but it's smooth. It goes about its business. You don't even notice it's there. It's a really quiet interior. But really, with this segment, you know, everybody is moving toward electrification, so I'm wondering what Lexus is going to do for the next gen model. Obviously, I do believe a plug-in hybrid is coming, but would they consider doing a full electric model? I kind of think they should consider that because, you know, the Tesla Model Y is one of the best-selling luxury SUVs or premium electric SUVs you can buy. And I worry that if Lexus doesn't deliver something similar to compete with that, they're going to continue to fall behind. This model has been on the market since 2016, and it definitely feels old. It feels old. It feels like Lexus has tried to keep it somewhat fresh, but between, you know, the old-looking interior layout, aside from the big 12-inch screen, which is nice, it's finally a touchscreen, you know, the old steering wheel, the old switchgear, it has not aged well on the outside and on the inside for me. It still remains a solid vehicle, but keep in mind, this is an over $60,000 luxury SUV, and there's simply a lot of choices out there when you're gonna be spending that kind of money. So after spending a week with the latest 2021 Lexus RX 350 F Sport Blackline Edition, it's pretty obvious to me that this still has all of the usual strengths that we expect from a Lexus RX. It's still very plush, it's still very comfortable, it's still very refined. I'm not entirely sure it's the most luxurious in the segment anymore. That interior is just super dated. The styling on the outside to me also hasn't really aged well in my opinion. But really what Lexus has done here is they continue to build the perfect luxury SUV for many Americans. It's essentially the perfect Karen vehicle, dare I say. There's a lot of people that like this car, and I understand why it is so appealing. Now, however, for me, as an enthusiast that constantly drives all of the competition out there, it gets me excited for the next generation RX because Lexus has some serious work to do with this model. They need to seriously improve the styling, make it appear modern, but also not make it lose the Lexus identity that this car is known for. They need to make the interior much better in terms of the tech department. That 12-inch screen is the right size, but I imagine Lexus is going to go to a 14-inch screen or larger for the next generation model. They're going to finally give us, hopefully, an all-digital display, a larger head-up display. And I would also like to see them offer features like better app integration on my cell phone, a lot of those smart parking features from my phone as well, maybe a phone as a key option. Lexus really needs to see what the competition is doing, and that's essentially why they're delaying the next generation RX. I said last year that we were going to expect it for 2022. Now they're saying it's going to be a 2023 model. Now, really, my biggest gripe comes from the fact when you're looking at the price of this car, because as a new vehicle, it starts at around $45,000. That is cheaper than most of its European rivals. However, the Acura MDX, which is new for 22, is its closest rival, is a much more appealing vehicle for around the same money. This F Sport package adds around $3,500 bucks. $700 is going to add you in the Blackline Special Edition package, and with the exclusivity factor and just the better looks from the black wheels, I think it's kind of worth the extra charge. Keep in mind, only 750 are going to be the gas version. Another 250 will be the hybrid model if you guys want this Blackline Special Edition package. Now, my tester, of course, with the Mark Levinson premium sound with 15 speakers, which sounds good, the upgraded GPS, the upgraded leather, this extra color paint option, some of the extras in terms of the sunroof, of course, the driver assistance stuff, which is at least standard. My tester comes in at an as-tested price of just under $62,000, which again is still a lot less expensive than its European rivals, but for $60,000, another vehicle that quickly comes to mind for me, besides the Acura, is the new Genesis GV80. That is the one to beat in the segment, and it really shows you how Lexus has completely fallen behind, so they're really going to have to target that for the next generation model if they want to continue leading the sales race in the luxury vehicle, not even SUV, the luxury vehicle space. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on this 2021 Lexus RX 350 F Sport Blackline Edition. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.